a damn Alabama fan and proud of it. Gump Nation forever, brother.
Namath again faking, quickly finds his target.
Now cuts in. He's at the 40-yard line. He's at the 30.
Quick drop throws in the end zone.
Each number represents an expectation, a challenge that only a championship tradition can issue.
Pressure. Anders hits him. The ball is loose.
Alabama, here comes the heat. Cornelius Bennett. Whoa, did he get lit up?
It is an endless passing of the torch that urges the wearer to enrich his legacy.
Brings pressure up the middle in a hurry. They can't get away from Dante. Alexander first down and more.
Richardson breaks free on the sideline. Turns the corner. Can you say goodbye?
Because at Alabama, tradition is not retired. It is built.
I'd like for people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't ever been nothing but a winner.
Alabama defeats Miami. Calling has succeeded.
This is not the end. This is the beginning.
Roll Tide family, thank everybody for being up in here. I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time for the lack of energy on our part. I've been up since 3 a.m. this morning. Just got back just a little while ago. Got some pains here and there. Poor Deuce, he's got a pinched nerve in his neck. So we're just going to suck it up and get through it tonight the best we can. So at this time, let me bring on the one, the only, Mr. Deuce. AT, come on down, sir.
It doesn't just roll out great players. He and his staff develop them. It's all about the process.
There he is. How's it going, Deuce? I see you got your pain patch on your neck there.
Yeah, it's coming off already. I've got my board out. Doing good, guys. My neck's been bothering me. I was in a wreck several months ago, and it ain't got no better. It's getting worse, and they didn't. I don't know why it is, but they hadn't got what it's supposed to do. So finally, I got me an MRI done and everything. So I'm going up to the top in Tennessee Friday. Dr. Melvin Law, he's up there at the Dunhill Clinic. He's supposed to be the best neck surgeon, period. So I'm going to go up there and let him look at it, let him get in here and see if he can maybe do something with this. Because, I mean, man, guys, I ain't kidding. I get up to, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 9.5 a lot of times throughout the day. And I'm taking all kind of pain medication, and it just, a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But you know how I am, and you work your ass off all day and speak my language.
I want to say hello to T-Town Trish. I'm glad you're in here, girl. You bring in a lot of good content, a lot of good questions. I got the board up over here. I'm gonna put an overlay so everybody can see it. Good to have you in here, girl. And Roll Tide, sister, Roll Tide. We got to take down Auburn this weekend. It was great. Before we get to talking about Auburn, I got to put the MA up because for some reason or another, it always brings it. They bring out the best in us for some reason.
You got it up there. Fuck off. There we go. Go ahead.
Well, AT, you got your offensive line grades. I think it ain't going to be the greatest in the world by the game I watched. MFR Jones, Roll Tide, brother. Good to have you in here. You know, always, brother. Take it away, AT. It's all your floor is yours.
Hey, MFR Jones. How you doing now, big man? Miss Trish, glad to see you now in the chat room. Y'all had a good day, I hope. Anyway, so Alabama-Auburn played. Of course, everybody knows that it lives on the planet unless you're in Russia and go fuck yourself. Our offensive line, guys, the problem they've had all year, Coach Kapovic or whatever you want to say his name. I just don't know if he's going to be what we need for our offensive line coach, because I sit there and watch our offensive line, and I'm an old offensive lineman. Back in, I weighed 245. I think you said you played offensive line too.
Yep, I did.
And so we kind of know a little bit about the position, but this offensive line is their biggest problem is one simple thing. They're not getting any push off the ball. And I tell you, you know what a push is. You get in the guy and you shove him 3, 4, 5 yards and you keep driving him. We get into the guy and we stalemate him. We don't let him run free, and our back can sometimes get by him for 3, 4 yards. Instead of him blocked a little further down line, downfield, he might have got another 12, 15 yards. Our offensive line is definitely not any of them. I don't care who played this year. None of them have got, I'm going to take this off. None of them have ever really got any push this year. They don't drive their man off the ball. You don't see any of that happening. And that can cause a lot of problems simply with your mechanics. And when you pull the right guard or tackle and they pull behind the center or the guard going another direction, the offensive line is not getting a push. They're running in the back of the offensive lineman, and the running back, he's not getting nowhere, no hole, because there's too much traffic in the backfield. So the offensive linemen are pissing me off, and they really have all year long. Mr. Caden Proctor, you know,
well, hold up before you get there. I just want to, remind everybody, AT here, he's been doing these grades all year long. He's missed 1 or 2 games, but that's all. But when we play good and we score good, everybody does great. Our offensive line scores out in the mid and upper 70s. And we've had a couple, they've been in the 80s. And that's when we just clean plow, So these grades are really accurate. When we ain't doing good, you see we start dropping down to low 70s and a little bit below. So when you hear these grades, you can understand why I was proud we beat Auburn. But with 4 turnovers and all that, it shocked me. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I agree with you 110%, Mr. Spencer.
And rise up. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you up in here.
Hey, glad to see you, that big boy. I'll tell you what. Anyway, being an old offensive lineman myself, and you being one, you know what it means. You take pride when you look up. You see your tailback in tonight carried the ball 25 times, 235 yards. And he's all this, all that. And the reason he got them yards is because of you. And you take a lot of pride in that. Okay, so what, I do, I take a lot of pride in that. I look on here and I see these stats, and I don't understand it. But Caden Proctor is too damn fat. I say too big. It ain't such thing as too big. It's just there's a certain point when you're too big and you lose your bending. You can't block a guy because you're standing straight up. You're not getting bent. And then I got a thing here later on. You'll see it. I got a couple videos if we get them in there. But so left tackle, I always start left tackle. That's my position I played a lot at. And so I start there. Caden, we had the ball 78 plays. Caden was right. Yeah. He graded out at 67. Out of 100, he graded out 67. Let me get straight here. Get my notes right. He graded out 67. He was right 53 out of 78 times. He graded out at 67%. The left guard, who's our best offensive lineman, Mr. Booker, he's going to be a first-round pick, no doubt about it. But, guys, he didn't do any better. He graded out 67. They both got the exact same grade. Now, usually Booker plays better than that. So, there's other factors in there where, maybe he got hit, stuff like that, and he couldn't get his block, but that don't matter. You either get your job done or you don't, right? So, anyway.
That's true.
And then our offensive center, Mr. Brailsford. By the way, before I go any further with Brailsford, I want to make sure, how many bad snaps you seen this year off him? He's done a wonderful job.
2.
Yeah, we had what?
All
3?
year. All year.
And last year we had 3.
Not 4 or 5 a game. 2 all year.
And Mr. Brailsford, he's undersized as far as centers go. As offensive lineman, he's a little under center, but hey, thank you for being who you are. He's a smart dude. And he gets them using the right block, blocking where they need to be. Slide right, slide left. But anyway, he graded out the worst of the bunch this week. And me after bragging, and I ain't gonna be mad at him. He only graded 60. He was right 47 times out of 78. So he graded out 60%. So that's the lowest for this game. But again, I ain't gonna be mad at him because they've done a great job all year long. And guys, if y'all noticed or didn't notice, the right side swapped out a lot. I think Jaden Roberts is hurt, and Elijah Pritchett couldn't pass block my ass. Could he pass block you? My God, this mother. Man, I tell you, Elijah, you went backwards instead of progressing. You've regressed, man. I don't know what the hell happened to you. And so they bring in Wilkin for me on the right tackle, and they bring in the right guard, Watermark, I think I say his name, a transfer from Michigan State. He's done pretty good.
Yeah, he did pretty good. I got to admit, he came in. He held his own. He did pretty good.
He did, and guys, whenever you're taking out your offensive lineman in the first quarter, there's something going on. Either your competition is that good, or there's something going on with the player. I don't know. I think Jaden Roberts is hurt because he ain't played as good this year as he did last year. And again, he could have regressed. It's the new coach, maybe the new system. I'm not sure. But Jaden Roberts, I love that kid. I like to call him all kind of Incredible Hulk names and stuff like that. But right guard swapped out. And I ain't going to sit there and try to count how many plays they each played and figure them out. I'm just going to tell you the right guard position graded out at 69. They graded out the best. Wittermark and I'm forgetting names also. So the right, I'll get it in a minute. The right guard graded out at 69. The right tackles, they graded out at only 62. So they graded out the second worst on the team. The center and the two tackles graded out Wilkin for me, and Elijah Pritchett graded out at 62. I'm having some pains here. Tight ends. By the way, did you see how many times we threw the ball at tight ends the other night? Was you
pretty good? I was proud we did, and they caught them.
They threw it to them. I mean, I was like, we finally learned to throw the ball to the tight ends over the middle. I've been screaming all year long, the seam route, because they're running too high safety. And that means they're going to be digging out deep, staying deep. When you say Ryan Williams and everybody else, then that damn center is going to be wide open. And finally, they started throwing the ball the seam route over the middle. I was like, yes.
Now, I will say this, too. Keep this in mind. We were playing at home.
Yeah.
And I still say, because as much as I had to didn't want to rewatch that OU game, I did. And I still say I don't know what kind of do they had on the field or what, but them balls were slick. It was going through the guy's hands. Now, at this game, they were clamping down on it. There was no moving like it was an OU game.
I agree.
So, I think there might have been something going on up there that they were prepared for with whatever kind of chemicals they had on their gloves that we didn't know. Our first time being there. I still say that.
I kept asking my friends as we were at a game, we was watching at a house, and I kept asking my friends, I said, guys, is it like it's raining to y'all? But that field looked wet. And I was sitting there thinking, the field looks wet, and you're right. That could have been maybe they done something in the field and the ball's a little wet or something like that,
Because Dupree, he's got big hands. And for him to miss 3 passes that he's got in front of him in his hands to slide right through, I'm sorry. 1 maybe, but 3, it was hard for me to believe. And I had to rewatch it, make sure and he did. So that's the reason I was curious about that.
Okay.
But he was on point against Auburn. They played good, caught good. I got to give them that.
And tight ends graded out at 60, excuse me, guys. The tight ends graded out at 61. Their pass blocking, run blocking, they graded out 61. They're catching passes, like you just got through saying, or I said, catching pass, they were dead on all night long. And so they graded out again 61%. But I'm going to tell you, if the damn offensive line coach does not get Proctor to drop, I'm saying 35 pounds. Y'all can see how fat he is. I mean, you carry a certain amount of weight and you bench press 700 pounds, that's fine. But if you get past a certain amount of weight, that bench press 700 pounds ain't going to be good enough because you're just not going to be able to move as fast as you need to. And I think he needs to lose 35 pounds by looking at him. Spencer, would you have an opinion on how much weight you think that man needs to lose? Because, I mean, he's too slow.
Well, before I answer that, T-Town Tricia, she made a good comment that I hadn't heard yet. She said she also heard that they were complaining about the lighting there. The lighting was really bad during the OU game.
Yes, sir. The four corners in the north, in the end zones, the ones that be like if you're looking at the directional map, north south, they had lights in the northeast, the northwest, southeast, and southwest. They were shooting at a different angle. You remember one time that receiver tried to catch a ball, the ball hit him, then he put his hands up. It looked funny, didn't it?
Yep.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That's what they were talking about there. What she just said. They were talking about that during the game and said that the lights are different there and it was throwing them off. So a night game, Oklahoma, next time we're going to know to look for that. But that definitely threw off the timing. And I wonder how many they dropped balls, like you said. I wonder how many times that caused it. But again, back to
anyway, about the weight deal. Well, like you said, there's a point where it's too much. I mean, yeah, he can bench 700, which is outstanding. But to do that only helps you when they bull rush you. But in his case, some reason or other, his foot placement still ain't there yet, because even when he gets a hold of them on the bull rush, they don't get into his body. I'll give him that. He can keep them at bay.
right.
But they're pushing him back the whole time because he can't plant to keep them. He keeps going back with them. Now, they ain't getting in on him because that's them big arms. But now he's done got to that point where his technique is bad and the way he sets up he's gained a lot of that weight he lost back. And now these speed rushers are getting by him and he can't even get to them. So them big arms and everything ain't doing him a bit of good if you can't put them on somebody. So, yeah, on that one, that's a lot of weight. But I'm going to have to say anywhere from 25 to 30. 25 to 30. Because the good defensive ends and linebackers are going right by him before he can ever. Now, a lot of that could be heart, too. That could be a lot of, want to ain't there. His give a damn might be broken. Let me put it to you that way.
Heart.
That's a lot of linemen is your want to. You gotta want to. You gotta want it. You gotta feel it, brother. I mean, you gotta feel it like the Lord. You gotta want it. And I haven't seen a lot of that desire with our linemen, our offensive line this year. I really hadn't.
I agree with you. That seemed like a lot of heart, desire, intensity is not there. And I'm tell you what, my coach would have kicked my ass up and down the field if I'd done some of the stuff. I got one on here, video of him, if we get to show the videos tonight, of the half-ass effort we're both referring to. But Mr. Coach Cap, you're the offensive line coach. Look at me. Mr. Cap, listen to me. If you don't get that offensive line doing better next year, we're going to see it because your best offensive lineman, Mr. Booker, holds them together. He's going to be gone. And you're going to have a lot of trouble next year with that offensive line. You've got to get in their damn head and make them lose the weight, get the muscle. But guys, we got to do better than that. There is no excuse. And again, 60.
With that being said,
go ahead.
Just that point you just made. With that being said, they probably these coaches probably already knew they had more problems at offensive line than they wanted to admit. Because the early signing period today, we got an O-line, 5-star O-line, Michael Carroll, rated number 17th player overall. We got an offensive tackle, Jackson Lloyd, 4-star. He is rated 44 overall. He's a number 7 offensive tackle. They also got signed offensive tackle Micah DeBose, Micah, M-I-C-A-H, Micah DeBose. He's 183 overall. He's number 18 offensive tackle available. He did early signing with Alabama today. Then we also have offensive tackle Mal Waltrip. He's rated 469 overall. He's a 3-star. He's rated the 35th offensive tackle on the board. So they picked up 4 offensive linemen.
Who was that last one you named off? I didn't catch his name.
Mal Waltrip, W-A-L-D-R-E-P.
Yes, sir. I got you. The only one we didn't get, I don't think we're going to wind up with, is Haywood.
No, we ain't getting them because the dollar He got a nice little bag going up to Michigan, which surprises the hell out of me. He's from Texas. He's the #1 offensive tackle available. Why in the world Texas didn't come off that money? How does somebody spend more money than the University of Texas for an offensive tackle? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't. And hell, Texas A&M is loaded. They paid a fortune for their players. How did they let them get out of Texas? Period. I don't get it.
I agree with you. I mean, we signed a hell of an offensive line. Maybe we're going to spend the money better somewhere else. Maybe more than we wanted to give.
And also, like Nick Saban Jr. is saying, Mal is playing the Alabama State Championship game tonight.
Gotcha.
I mean, they're playing tonight. So he's a good in-state player. If I got that right, Nick Saban Jr., Mal or in-state? Yep, he's Phoenix City.
Yeah.
He's actually from Nick Saban Jr.'s neck of the woods.
Yes, sir. We did do that. We did great with I don't know why Haywood accept the money. And here I am, worried about. I'm an offensive, defensive line guy. I watched the games of one in the trenches. And I'm thinking that Justice Terry from over here in Georgia, I'm thinking we need to pull the damn bank out and pay the dude. We need some defensive down linemen. If you're going to run that damn 3 down linemen, they better be all world. They cannot be good. They cannot be very good. They got to be all world to stop the run in the SEC. So we need to break out the money to get Justice Terry or somebody all-American.
I don't know if you got 3 of the best in the friggin' world, it would make a difference. That's just a bad defense. It's just I don't get it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Somebody's gonna have to prove me wrong on that. I'm old school. I'm very old school. And when you got 1 yard to go, and you put 3 people on that line, they're gonna get the first down. I don't care how great they are. You only need 1 yard. It's Jesus anyway. But most of the things, go ahead, man.
I get 10%. I don't like that 3-3-5 at all. Well, I was at a friend's house and they line up that 3-3 and I'd holler, there's that damn 3-3 and Auburn run the ball. I said, there's that 3-3 and Auburn run. Every time they tried to run that 3-3, it seemed like they'd do that. But
what he does out of 3-3 or did this year is when he blitzed everybody, they just pin their ears back and went as hard as they can through the hole, and they just let them go by, and they did the shovel pass. There wasn't nobody there.
I agree.
And then he showed everybody how to do that.
I know that other night listening and watching you and Williams are mad about the offensive guy. I'm mad about the defensive guy. So I don't think anybody's real happy with offensive or defensive staff right now. I'm hoping against hope that Womack's daddy can figure out, or him and his dad can figure out something. Because if they're going to stay that 3 down lineman in the SEC, we're in trouble. I just don't think you can do it.
Nick Saban Jr. says that Mal, he feels is going to play guard at Alabama. Why do you feel that?
I don't know what's his size. Is he little?
I mean, they brought in some other tackles. I'll admit that, but he's damn good. I know they've got him as a 3-star. He's very underrated. Very underrated. I say whoever wins the position, because we need some badass offensive tackles next season. Big time. Well, we need them this season, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's see what he got like. London Sigma from Mississippi, the defense. Okay. Got you.
He's probably a little quicker. Guards are usually quicker than a tackle. You know how that is. He might be a little quicker, so they might want him at guard because when you pull them, they got to get out there and they got to hit that quick tailback. They got to hit that quick linebacker, that quick safety outside. Whereas that big Proctor can't hit me. I mean, that dude cannot pull for love and money. He's a power man, run straight behind him, run the ball straight ahead, and you'll be okay. And I know we won the game, guys, 14 points, but we should have slaughtered them. There was no reason they should have been within 14 points of us, and we turned it over 4 times. They turned it over twice. We cannot turn the ball over like that and beat teams in the playoffs. If you turn it over 4 times, you're going to get beat. We'll be home next day.
That just tells you how sorry Auburn really is this year.
Yeah, Peyton
I mean-
Thorne even threw for a lot of yards against us. I mean, what the hell are we sitting back there letting this guy sit back there and count to, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. He's coming back 10 seconds and throwing the damn ball. I thought we'd do him like LSU. Go ahead. I thought guys would do like we did against LSU. We'd put 6 of them on the line and look like we're going to run 7 and go get him or not go get him and have a Peyton Thorne confused all night. And they just decided, hell, you saw it. They put 3 on the line and then tried to stop a 3rd and 1 with 3 down linemen. Anybody out there raise your hand think that's a smart idea? I didn't think it would be. So we got all them issues going on, and we still wound up 9-3. We're going to be in the playoffs, and guess what, Miami? It's your turn. Last year we got Florida State. This year we got Miami. So that's 2 Florida teams out of the playoffs. It's going to be mad at us. The rest of the country don't want us in the playoffs. Guess what? We're in the playoffs. We got in there by the skin of our teeth. This team, and y'all know as well as I do, is Jekyll and Hyde. If the right one shows up, we're hell to beat. If the wrong one shows up, we can't beat Oklahoma. And that's football. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But we touched on earlier, lack of effort, heart, desire, intensity. They seem to lack it this year at key points of the game. When they had everything in front of them against Oklahoma, it's like they went out there and didn't care. I just didn't see the intensity, Spencer.
I didn't either. I would love after this year is over with, a couple of the guys who go on to the pro draft or become walk-ons, whatever. I'd like to be able to get a hold of them, see if they'll just come on one night, just sit down with us old timers and tell us exactly how it really was, what was going on behind the scenes. Because we don't know the new wave. I like to know what's actually going on. Are they actually sit in there in the field house, looking at the bank account, see if the NIL check hit before they go out there and play? If it ain't, they ain't giving it their all. I mean, I'm just curious. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They just, ever since this NIL hit, the kid's heart, they ain't none. The ones that have it's very few and in between.
I agree with you 110%. Something else I learned, I didn't know it. That Mel Kiper has got our quarterback, Jalen Milroe, ranked as the 3rd best quarterback in the country. Jalen, you better go. You better not stay. They was talking about any other year, he'd probably be a 5th rounder or worst draft pick. So this year he's the 3rd best quarterback, and they said he could probably go in the 1st round. And that got me to thinking. And if you saw all them tweets I sent out that night, Spencer, I was damn mad. I couldn't see straight. I called him everything. I called him women, feminine parts and stuff like that. I mean, and then I got to thinking, why is he doing this? And the only thing I figured, he's trying to protect his health for the NFL draft. Because if he gets hurt, he won't get drafted as early as he thinks he should. So I think he's scared. He's playing scared. Because he kept saying he wouldn't hurt. He wouldn't hurt. It was execution. Okay, well, it's either you're playing hurt or you're scared. You take your pick. You said it wasn't playing hurt, so you're scared. I mean, the things you do, and you're absolutely blowing my mind. You're scared that you're gonna get hurt, and I think that's what's been showing through on these games where you didn't do no good. You're afraid you're gonna get hurt, and you just didn't play. Well,
That's
do you think you're scared?
That's exactly why. Hey, Godfather, good to see you in here, brother. That's exactly why after they leave, there's no more obligation. Well, he might still be under contract for a few more years with Alabama. But after it's all gone, I just like to come down, sit down, and just be up front, be honest. It ain't gonna cost him nothing. It ain't gonna hurt him, to be honest. Teach us old men some new tricks. These old dogs. I would just love to know. But just let me throw this at you real quick. There's a couple things I'm worried about, and Godfather beat me to it. But the transfer portal opens up December 9th, and it runs through December 28th. Then it closes December 28th, and it opens back up in spring, April 16th, and closes April 25th. And right now, there's still no limits whatsoever on how many times a student athlete can transfer. There ain't one.
Right.
So they could transfer in, and before they even go to practice, they could transfer right back out again. There is no guarantee to it. There's a lot of problems with this. And I'm just going to read this off real quick. I got this off, and a shout out to Rogue Tide TV. I actually got this list off of their show, and because it's interesting.
Right.
They're thinking there are possible people they see going in to the transfer portal. One's Eli Pritchett, which I ain't going to lie to you, might be a good thing.
I hear you.
I mean, if we ain't got a coach here, offensive line coach, can teach him what he needs to know to be a better player, because he's got a lot of talent in him, then he does need to go somewhere that got a coach that can relate to him and help him get better. So he has a good future ahead of him. Another one they talk about, and I think he's already said he's going to, is Keon Keeley, defensive lineman.
Yeah.
I think he's already hinted that he was going to.
They got no playing time this year.
And then Jay Hurley, our cornerback, we knew he needs to. He needs to go. He's good. He's got a lot of talent. He's really good. He was red-shirted. He only played 19 plays this year. He needs for him to make it, get big contract money. He needs to. Much as I hate to say it, but he needs to.
Yeah, just
and then the other one they named
in the state, don't transfer.
Was Ty Simpson. They honestly believe Ty Simpson will enter transfer portal, and their reasoning is because our quarterback field that we got right now, that's behind him, that's in there, and then they just signed an early signing today, Keaton Russell, a 5-star quarterback.
Yeah,
they just brought him in.
That's it.
So the numbers are stacked against him.
Yeah, that Keon Russell you're talking about is that SMU guy that flipped to us from SMU, yeah. And that's where I started getting my hatred for that guy from LSU, T-Bob Abear. Y'all flipped the guy from SMU, whoop-de-damn-do. And he winds up being the second best quarterback in the country. And I'm like, yeah, whoop-de-damn, dude, you son of a bitch. I mean, I tell you, hey, T-Bob, there you go. I can't stand him. Go ahead.
I'm gonna add one more. I'm gonna add another one to their list. Every damn running back we got.
They could.
Unless these coaches go to them and say, hey man, we were just trying to build up everything this year. We couldn't put in our full plays of running backs. We're gonna give running backs more playing time next year or something. But if they keep doing like they did this year, we ain't gonna have no great running backs because they don't get no playing time. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with you. When you look up and quarterbacks getting all the carries, I will say this: the last time we ran this last game against Auburn, we ran the ball. I think one of the tailbacks got the ball 28. Did I get there? I think.
Well, I had the stats up there for Monday night. I don't have them up there tonight. Sorry about that.
That's okay. But the running back, our other running back, I think carried the ball 28.
You're talking about Young, Jam. Or Sweet Justice.
It's either Jam or Justice, one of the two. I think they carried it like 28 times. They got
that's Jam. That's Jam Miller.
I got you. They carried the ball more in that one game than had, I think, 3 previous games added together.
Yep.
I mean, when your quarterback's running, that's fine. When he's running, that's fine. I get it. But, when he runs scared like he did. Guys, there was one time it was like he could have picked up 3 more yards if he had tucked it up and ran up the field, except he ran out of bounds because he didn't want to get hit. And it could have been 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 instead of 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 6, whatever. He ran out of bounds. There was no reason for him to run out of bounds, and that's why I say he's scared. And he's a woman part that I ain't going to say on here because there's women in here. But if you're scared, you need to go on and go pro because that's okay to run out of bounds every time in the pros. But when you're running quarterback like he is at Alabama, you need to cut it up and pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards. You're a big man. You could cut it up and run. You could got us 3 or 4 more yards, and it could have been a critical first down in that game. We got lucky. The Auburn just wasn't no good this year, and so the son of a bitch got away with it. I mean, he played like a little wimp, a little wussy, if you will, and that got on my nerves. My friends thought I was going to tackle their TV. Said I was screaming at the top of my lungs like some crazy wild man. I mean, I was madder than a wet hen. I could have shot him. When he runs out of bounds, when we need the yards, you run out of bounds. You're not playing for the team. You're playing for yourself, and that's what I think he's doing. He's playing for the NFL draft. And let me say something while I'm thinking about that. If that's what you're doing, go pro now and let somebody else start this playoff game. Go get out of here. Go where you're gonna go. If you're gonna play scared, don't play. I'd rather you not play at all, Jalen, because I like you, kid. You roll tide at the end. I love your attitude. You've had a wonderful attitude, and all of a sudden you're playing like I said, playing scared. I don't like that.
I was just sent by a good friend of mine. It's a regular on here. He just sent me I ain't gonna lie about it. It's damn Godfather. Yeah, he sent me an article about the signing day and everything, and I didn't know this. I missed this one. We also 5-star cornerback Dion Lee signed with us today.
And Dijon Lee, yes, sir.
So that's a great one. I did not know that. That is outstanding. So we should be still at this class if everybody stays, everything goes good. We should still end up number 2, 2025 recruiting class, the second best. We should at least be in the top 4 by the end of this year. Which DeBoyer's doing a good job. He's recruiting good now. I can't jump on him too bad.
Kiana Coates, and they saying he's going to transfer. Already is in transfer portal too. I don't think you brought him up. Kiana Koht, I think. Coates.
Yeah.
I think he's gone too, and I don't blame him either. He ain't got no playing time this year at all, Harvey. So sometimes it don't work out, guys. I understand it. I mean, you got to do something. But if you're only going to be sitting on the bench 1 year, pay your dues, man. You shouldn't be starting your freshman year unless you want to play for a team that's 0-9. If you want to be a playoff contender, you're going to get into the team where you're going to be behind a guy that's going to be a damn good player, All-American, and he's going to start in front of him because he's been there 3 years. He's bigger, stronger, faster, and you still got to adapt to the college game. Some of them might either play now and going somewhere else. Bye. It's up here, you got to pay your dues, and like they used to back in the old days before they had transfer portal, you had no choice but to pay your dues, and then that's what made them so good. They learned to develop because they knew they couldn't just go anywhere they wanted to go willy-nilly.
Yep, they had to work to get their money. All right, okay, we done beat the hell out of Auburn twice now, so let's talk about the next half of it. So where are we going to go from here? Right now, they've got us in they got us in at number 11, but that's not a fact because we still got these playoff games. I mean, these division games that's happening this coming weekend.
Right.
We won't really know if we're in until the results of this weekend comes in. I mean, what do you think?
Only game I'm worried about is the SMU Clemson game because they're saying if Clemson beats SMU, that Clemson's in and SMU might both be in, and that would knock us out. So if SMU beats Clemson, we're in with no worries. But if Clemson beats SMU, that could maybe knock us out of the playoffs. So maybe that's what you've heard, maybe you hadn't heard, but that's the only one we got to worry about.
Well, SMU's only got one loss.
Yeah.
They're playing tough, but there's not much to play in the ACC. But still,
agreed.
It's
like Indiana.
How can you knock them out? I mean, if they lose to Clemson, granted, Clemson's got the automatic bye because that's their rules. That's their damn rules. They're in there. But how can you tell a one-loss SMU that because you lost your division playoff that you're out? Because if you do that, then why are we even having them? I know it's for you. If whoever wins it gets that first round bye. But seriously, what good is it? You could lose a chance to play for a championship trying to go for a division championship. That can't happen. They can't. God, go ahead. Go ahead,
Well,
man.
I'm with you, man. I mean, if you go to the SEC championship game, if Georgia and Texas both play and the loser don't get in the playoffs, why would you have the SEC championship game? Why even do it?
Right.
Just don't have it, and you both are in there. You don't have to worry about it. I understand that, and again, I think it also goes back to the strength of your league. The SEC and the Big Ten are so much stronger than anything else out there that would make sense. But you got what? It's trying to think of this other team. It's Indiana, of course. They're Big Ten, but Indiana's strength of schedule is what, 106 or something like that. If your schedule's that bad, I don't understand how they're going to do this, but they're going to have to redo the seeding. We're number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all conference champions. And if you look up, you'll see one of them, I forgot which one it is a conference champion, should not be seeded that high because they got the lower seed. I think they got an easier path to championship game than the number 1 or 2 ranked Georgia or Texas team would have. So they got to reseed these. They got to figure out how to give these guys a bye. It can't be just a conference winner.
I think so. That's what I was going to ask. That's what I was wanting to ask you. How can you say I disagree with automatic buys? I really do. The reason why, let's say for the good examples coming up. Clemson's 8-3, correct? Or 9-3. They're 9-3, right?
I think so.
So they can go. They're going against a one-loss SMU team. If they beat them, they're automatically in with a bye. Well, they're not one of the best 4 teams this year by far.
I agree.
So that definitely has to change. Yeah, I can't say the automatic bye. I guess you take your top 4. I mean, I'm because you don't know how the rules are. I know they're learning. This is their first year doing it. I see positives and I see negatives. My positives are it's bringing more people that loves football, who's always watched it, more excited about the end of the year games that we normally would just brush off at this time. Them little MAC games, all that don't mean crap. What's the use of watching it? But now all the games does matter because of the way they pick it, because they don't do strength of schedule, obviously. Obviously, they ain't looking the head-to-head matchup. I can't really figure out what their parameters are. Do you have any idea?
What I think happened, it made them all mad, super mad, pushed them past the point of being upset to the point of doing something to get their conference champion in there. Was back in the BCS days of formula, Alabama LSU played for a championship game. Alabama had already got beat that year at home against LSU, and we got a rematch and then beat them 21-0. That, I think, is what started, though. We got to do something about the SEC attitudes because that's when the SEC was really dominating and getting better and better, and I think that's what they finally come up with. We're going to get our conference champion in there, hell or high water, and they're going to be a conference champ. They're going to get a bye, and they're going to get a top 4 seed. Conference champ automatically. SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, back then the Pac stood on, so it'll be the Power 5. That's gone now. So now you got 4. And so now the AC says, well, we get our guys in. We don't have to worry about that. Our champion gets in there. What if your champion, you're 6-5 and wins the ACC championship? Should he be ranked in the top 4? And there, again, that's what we were just talking about. That's where that problem comes in at. So whenever you got guys ranked, that's what they need to do. Don't worry about if you won the SEC championship game. If you're in the top 4, you get the bye. You don't have to do that. But I don't know how they're going to be able to do it because you got to be able to win your championship. But that shouldn't guarantee you a first round bye if you're 6-5. You know what I mean?
Well, the way they're setting it up, we're going to end up like the NFL anyway. So have a AFL and NFL, let them play it off, and the winners of them play each other in a Super Bowl. In a college bowl. I mean, that's where they're going with it.
It's going to happen. Some team is going to win their championship game. They're going to be a 6-5 type team, and they're going to be ranked ahead of somebody that was 12-1 and lost the game, and that's all. And that should not happen. I don't know how they going to word it. They can get the champion in there. You're guaranteed. If you win your conference, you're guaranteed a spot in the wherever in the top 12, wherever you got. You're guaranteed a spot somewhere, but you're not guaranteed a first round bye, and you're not guaranteed anything except a spot in the playoffs if you win your championship. And that's the only way I could say that it'd be fair, because, if Clemson wins theirs, well, they rank right now, what, 20th, 18th, 20th? And if they win that, if they beat SMU, they're in. But they're going to be ranked ahead of some other teams that were 11-1 and stuff like that because they won a championship. That ain't fair.
All right, let me ask you this. There's something that's been going on this little bald head up here. I only got 2 rocks and some muddy water that sloshes around, gives me thoughts every once in a while. But let me ask you this. Do you think Greg Sankey has pushed for this and gone along with this to set NCAA up, daring them to keep an SEC team that's in their division playoff out? Kick one of them out. Give him every right to break off and leave NCAA and do their own thing. Do you think this is a setup on his part?
I'd hope it ain't. I'd hope he wouldn't be that far down the rabbit hole that we can't get him back. I understand what you're saying, and that would be devious on his part. But I think the further we go down this road, I think it's going to go. Let me see if I can say this right now so I'll make it sound right. We were all split up into 5 power conferences, and now we're getting into really what you got, the Big 12 and the SEC. All right, and them 2 are getting big, and I think what's going to happen, them 2 are going to keep getting everybody because they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're going to wind up with 2 power conferences. So you got to split them up north, south, east, west, somewhere like that. And within that, if you got 35 teams, you've got to do something. You can't have just 35 teams in the playoff. In your division. So you got to break off somehow. I think it's going to break back into what it was, except under different playoff.
Just different names.
Yeah, it's got
a Big 10, Big 12, MAC, and all that. We just call them different, but it's going to go right back to where he was because that's the only way you can break that many teams down.
Right.
You can do quarters, but still, basically, that's what you'll do again. But that would break your SEC teams back out. I take Texas, they're going to put their ass back over yonder. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you can do, because you got to do something. You can't.
You got contracts in there and all that. I was just curious. I just had my mind going. It's like I'm not hearing much griping, so I'm wondering if he's just giving them, like my granddaddy used to say, give them enough rope. Just give them enough rope. You'll hook it. Just give it enough rope. Give them enough rope. They'll screw themselves. I promise you. Let them have that rope.
And
let them think they're getting away with something. You'll get them.
I agree with you, brother. All conferences are not created equal. The SEC is better than everybody else in the country, and they don't like it. And they don't like it.
This year would beat the hell out of each other.
Right, and they didn't like the fact that Alabama got in last year with Florida State, so you might be right about Greg Sankey doing that. It could be very well. They didn't like it last year, and they ain't going to like it this year when we get in over Miami and Florida. Hey, if you don't like it, Miami and Florida play a tougher schedule. Who's on your schedule that you beat? We were 3-1 against top teams. You were 0-1. Seriously, it shouldn't matter.
You see Godfather's comment right there? He said he thinks they're going to make a super conference by 2026.
I wouldn't doubt it a bit. And when they do, they got to break it right back down in regions and divisions, just like it was. SEC, Big 10, Big 8, Big 12, however, Pac-10, Pac-12. They're going to have to break it right back down, except this time there's going to be better guardrails, I guess. They've learned, hopefully they learn how to do it so that the playoffs I don't know. That's something I'm sure they can do. They got to do something different, because if they go back doing what they did the first time and didn't learn their lesson, and we just spun our wheels for 4 years.
All right, I'm going to ask you this, as the Alabama fan in me, I'm begging, hoping like hell SMU just goes in there. I don't care if they win by 1 point. Beats Clemson, gets us in. I want that. Yeah. I want one more shot at it, one more. But as a football fan that actually looks at how people's played all year, their tendencies, Are they really good this year or not? Are they utilizing their talent? Are the coaches and players in sync? You know, it's just this Alabama team, how they play. And if you just go off your grades all year on the offensive line,
Right.
you just did that. I'm going, are we really one of the 12 best teams to get in? I asked myself that. Then I go in there and I look at the other teams in there. I'm going, well, we could beat the hell out of them. We're sure a hell lot better than them. And yeah, we deserve to be there. But I also believe South Carolina deserves to be in there too. That's just me.
Very good ball club. Yes, sir.
What do you think?
I like South Carolina. They got a good ball club, but you know, if somebody's get in, somebody can't get in. If your records are 9-3, both records are 9-3. What's the next, thing they look at? And the next thing they look at, of course, is they got to be head to head. So Alabama should get in ahead of them, and that only makes sense. Does anybody out there would disagree with head to head? Should matter after if you're both 9-3. Head to head should be your first if you played. And we did, and we beat them, so we should be in ahead of them. But another thing, that's where that G5 team like Tulane or somebody gets in. That should have never happened. That don't put Cinderella in the ball just because she come in with a nice ass and a pair of boobs on her, stuff like that. Don't put her in the ball. That's not fair to teams like that had a good year. The group of five does not deserve and should not be in the championship or in the playoffs with the big boys. That is not fair. They're strength of schedule. They're getting beat up. No, they're not. Alabama's playing a tough schedule and they're getting players hurt and they're getting beat up. Whereas these teams in that Power Five, a group of five, is playing a little candy ass schedule. That should be thrown away. Spencer, what do you think about it? Do you think Cinderella should be included just because she had a nice ass?
No, I don't think they have a nice ass. But anyway, besides that, I'm going over here. I'm going to answer Godfather real quick.
Go ahead.
Brother, I agree with you totally. Any year but this year. I'm not sure what their mindset is on this committee this year. But any other time, yes. The Alabama brand, how Alabama travels, the money Alabama brings in, yes, that affects their decision. They're business people. I agree with you. It's money. That I won't deny. Who's going to put more money in a stands, Alabama or SMU? Alabama. Alabama or Clemson? Alabama. You know, it's just fact. Alabama or Boise? Alabama, UNLV? Alabama. But this year, you got a lot of Big 10, Big 12 people on this committee. I'm not sure about this year, Waylon. I really ain't.
Boise State, are they still in that Midwest Conference? What are they still in that small conference? Or they go Big 12, guys? Who knows? I mean, anybody know?
Well, they split it up. Some of them are in big. That's how SMU ended up over the ACC. And what's so funny, they're whooping ACC's ass.
Yeah, they played a schedule, I think, good enough that they could get in the playoffs. But Boise State does not belong in this playoff. I don't care if they're Midwest Conference or whatever. They don't belong. I don't care if you are one of the top. That does not belong. That is not fair. If you want to put South Carolina in, take Boise out. Their schedule is not conducive. It is not fair to everybody else. Don't be mad at Alabama. Be mad at letting the Boise State and a group of five get in. They don't belong. It's not the same ball game. They got a football and they throw it up and down the field. It's not the same game. It is not fair. South Carolina, if you want to be mad, that's who you need to be cussing, not us.
The chat's letting us know it's called the Mountain West. Okay. Yeah, I don't keep up with that at all. Sorry. I don't.
West does not belong. That is bullshit, and that's where South Carolina should get in. South Carolina could get in right there and get rid of that bullshit. Take Cinderella's home and tell her to stay home until she get her own ride. And that really ain't fair. I never thought that was a good idea to begin with. Anybody out there think it was Nick Saban Jr.? Do you think it's a good idea to let teams of the Mountain West Conference in the playoffs with the big boys just because I don't know what the hell they're doing? That was stupidity at its best. I mean, damn, that was stupid. South Carolina should be in. Boise State should be on the road somewhere playing against Hawaii and in the Blue Bonnet Bowl.
Well, I tell you what, if you put this year's Vandy team in the Mountain West, they've been undefeated.
Yeah, and that
Vanderbilt,
that brings up a good thing about Vanderbilt. If we'd played Vanderbilt the 8th game of the year instead of the 3rd or 4th game, we would have beat them. They got good frontline guys, but after a period of time, after time, after time, you get hurt, you lose players. That's how you get beat in the SEC. That's why every game is so hard in the SEC. You don't have to play a one-game season.
We beat each other up.
That's what happens to you, Vanderbilt.
Depth.
Yeah, they don't have the players to go with it. Like if we played Vanderbilt now, we'd beat them by 30 points.
I want to ask you this because I was impressed with this when I got to rewatch. I couldn't watch it live. I've been kind of under the weather and having to go to bed really early. But I rewatched Nick Saban Jr. show, and they brought up a good question. I ain't going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to break it down. This year, who to you, what coach did the best job this year to you?
I watched that last night.
They did 5. I just want to know one.
Yeah, I'm not going to do. I could probably name 5 and give me 5 minutes. I could probably think more. The best this year, and I'm going to say this name, and I really don't off the top of my head because his team went 11-1. He's a good coach, but his record should not be. Indiana did good this year, but I want to say Notre Dame's coach. What's his name?
Franklin.
No, that's Penn State.
Yeah, you're right.
You having a heart attack?
No. Just little pain right there. No biggie. Go ahead. Sorry.
Notre Dame's quarterback. Notre Dame's coach done a great job. I think Notre Dame guy did the best this year of any coach out there. Kurt Cignetti will win, guys. Now you listen to me. Kurt Cignetti will win anywhere he goes. And I'm going to tell you, he ain't going to be at Indiana very long. I'm looking at Oklahoma. I'm telling you now, Oklahoma will not put up with that too much longer for what happened this year. If they can't get any better, Venables, I'm just telling you now, I don't like Venables as a head coach. I think he's a damn good defensive coordinator. If I was him, I'd go get Kurt Cignetti from Indiana. I think he will win anywhere he goes. It don't matter. He's a good coach, but Indiana's record this year against their strength of schedule is bullshit. So I'm going with Notre Dame, and that's my final answer, Bob.
Okay. Well, me, it's simple. To me, it's real simple.
Whatever his name was.
It goes competition.
You're going to say
go through, and just to change from year 1 to year 2. Mine's Vanderbilt. Coach Lee, LEA, Coach Lee.
Don't forget South Carolina.
And made one hell of a change on a team that down and out. I mean, I'm very impressive. That's my number 1. That's just my number 1. Now, there's a lot out there that you could bring up that's done a good job this year. I won't deny, but that's just, in my opinion, my number 1.
Vanderbilt, well, man, I agree with you. He done a hell of a job. I think Vanderbilt's biggest difference maker was that damn quarterback. You take him off that team, they don't win 3 games.
Maybe not, but the attitude, just the way the players played for this man, they gave it all. I mean, I was just impressed. I was impressed.
No, I agree. He done a hell of a job. I ain't taking that from what you're saying. I agree 110%. But he was smart enough to get that that quarterback. What's his name? Lagio, Giuseppe Casey. They got him in there, and he is a difference maker when he's got enough weapons that are healthy around him. You're right. Vanderbilt done great. I think Fabio.
I can't say anybody. That's one hell of a quarterback. I can't deny that. All right, we're running up on time here. So, who's your worst? Who's your worst coach?
Let me think about that.
I know Lee's answer. Now, I didn't even go with Lee's answer, and I replied back in the comment section. But
to be the worst coach, to me, you can't have a winning record and a winning team. I can't say Penn State. Penn State is doing the work. They done had a good season, but to me, Penn State is doing the least with the most of any team out there. But the worst coach, let's see. It ain't Florida. Napier's still rebuilding. If you got somebody, go ahead and name. I'm trying to think of all the.
Well, no, the obvious out there, if you just look at the
Oklahoma.
this year versus last year, is Florida State. That is by far the most sorriest team. I don't know if I could put that on the head coach. I've got to put that on the whole damn program.
Well, I agree with that.
Something went bad awry for them to be going in for the playoffs last year to pieces total shit this year.
Right here.
I know. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I cannot put Florida State's head coach in my worst. My worst is a guy who didn't make playoffs. I mean, he ain't going to go bowling. But he's had time to build a program. And the only thing he's done is moved a pile of shit from one area to the other. And then stirred it up a little bit, moved it over here, added a little water, made it diarrhea. That's all he's done. And that's who freezed them for me.
Yeah.
Auburn's coach. I want Hughes to stay there forever and amen. But if I was an Auburn fan, that man's got to go. I mean, he is terrible. He's horrible. Cannot stand him. Go ahead.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm trying to find there was and somebody up earlier, Nick Saban Jr. said Penn State don't lost one game. I agree with you. And let me put it this way: Penn State, James Franklin is another Mark Richt. He's a good coach, but that's all he'll ever be. And what's the number one saying that you heard, or you've heard? What is good? Good is the enemy of great. Because if you're 10-1, you're not going to fire that coach. If you're 10-2, 11-1, you're not going to fire that coach. If you don't win a championship, he won 11 games. If Penn State does not win the championship this year, he has not won the Big Ten or whatever that conference they're in. He has not won it yet. He has not won that conference yet. And so I'm saying that's the reason why I say that he's in trouble. I'm not in trouble, but I mean he done a good job, but he's in the top 5 worst for me because at the end of the year, anybody out there want to take this bet, I'll bet you $100 to $20. Penn State does not win the championship this year. Anybody want to take that bet?
I ain't touching that with 10-foot pole.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, and that's the problem. Mark Richt was a better person. He was a coach, Christian man, great man. I'd have played for him because I loved him. He's a great coach, not a great coach. He's a great coach. Mark Richt, this James Franklin at Penn State, Nick Saban Jr. to me, Penn State is the same thing as Georgia was, and we got some up there, Florida State. Well, when you said about Florida State, I meant to bring that up too. The reason they done so bad this year is their head coach, let them act like a bunch of candy asses last year. We're not playing. If we don't get in the championship game, we're going to set the game out. You set the fucking game out. You set your ass home. You walk home. Don't come back. Don't try to play next year. You play in the goddamn game and you support your team. You play on your team. That's what happened to Florida State like this year. That's why they have a bad year up here. He allowed that shit to go on in their head and in their head and in their head and in their head to the point to where that's what
Like
happened.
I said, it was more than a coach. Coach ain't good. I won't deny that. But it took a total failure across the board for them to be this bad. Godfather brings up something interesting that I think makes sense, and I would hate to see it for an Alabama fan. But as a football fan, it makes total sense. He says Hugh Freeze is out. Remember what I am saying. Shane Beamer is what I've been told by Auburn alum.
I don't blame him. After watching South Carolina,
That's a no-brainer.
right, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm Oklahoma and I see that, I'm gonna pull a Georgia. You remember that a couple years ago before Kirby took the Georgia job? Somebody, South Carolina, somebody had mentioned they were gonna maybe talk to Kirby about being their head coach. Georgia said, well, oh, shit, no. Georgia jumped up. They went running. He's our coach, and Georgia signed him. Oklahoma, if you want a winning coach, Venables ain't it. You better jump on this dude. I'm telling you now. That ain't luck he done that at South Carolina. You better get him.
Damn.
Oakland,
That would be that would be a good combination there, Waylon. That'd be a damn good combination.
Who'd he say?
And Beamer at Auburn.
Shut your
They
mouth.
got the money. They got the money to buy some players.
Oklahoma got
Ooh, that would be
the money.
that'd be interesting.
I'd rather him be at Auburn than Oklahoma, though, because Oklahoma does. Let me ask you this: Is it easier to win at Oklahoma, or is it easier to win at Auburn, year in, year out? Where is it easier to win at?
Well, it used to be Oklahoma, but now Oklahoma's in the SEC.
Yeah, but they got the tradition. They're blue blood, right?
They're supposed to be.
Well, I mean, if you name 10 blue bloods, they'll be in the 10 blue bloods. That's my idea. Auburn is not and never has been even considered a blue blood. They won a championship back when they played the preacher man. How much did they pay Cam before it was legal? They paid him. They paid him. That's the reason why I don't count Auburn as a blue. Auburn's a mid-tier. Auburn's an 8-4 team. Anybody else would disagree with that? Auburn on average year is 8-4 kind of record. What do y'all think?
Now, once again, the problem I've got with Oklahoma, Waylon said, or Godfather says Oklahoma. The problem I got with Oklahoma is their pool that they can pull from to recruit. Auburn has a better recruiting area that they keep in constant. I'm talking everywhere from LSU through Mississippi, of course, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. I mean, where the homegrown boys are at. They've got that covered. And you put a good coach in there, like I said, that was a damn good question right there. I'm gonna say Auburn. I'm gonna say Auburn with Shane Beamer.
Why would you say Auburn's a better job than Oklahoma football?
Because of recruiting.
Okay, and
they do have money, but they have not had the right person for this. Well, they have, and they proved it back in the day.
When? I mean, they had one.
Pat Tie.
I'm going from the 70s going all up to now. They've not done it. So I'm saying I understand Auburn is.
No, they hadn't. They hadn't. No, I agree with you. The reason Oklahoma did because they was over there playing nobodies. They had 2 tough games a year. That's all they ever had.
With a big eight,
they never go to playoffs, get their ass waxed. Now they're in the SEC playing SEC teams.
There is something to be said about that. I agree. I'm not totally disagreeing. I'm just saying, to me, if I was Oklahoma, I'd go get Beamer before I let Auburn would, because if I'm a coach, if Oklahoma calls me or Auburn calls me, offers me the same amount of money, I'm going to Oklahoma because Alabama's in Alabama and Georgia's right across the street. Oklahoma, at least you got Texas on your border instead of Georgia. I'm just saying, if I'm going to take a head coaching job, the first one would be Oklahoma before Auburn. I'm getting it. Auburn ain't a bad job, guys. To me, though, since I was old enough to know what football is, Auburn's an average 8-4 a year kind of team. You can figure they win 8 games a year. Would you agree with that, or do you think they win more than that on average a year?
I think they got a lot of good cows around there. You get good steaks. They got a lot of good cows, a lot of cow farms. But anyway,
and the worst,
Oklahoma does too. But I had to say that. But real quick, we're getting a little overtime. I got another little gut check here I've been fighting with my head. I want to bring out to you tonight. Do you think the reason the University of Texas, their first year in the SEC, got the SEC Invitational down there for all the coaches come there first year? Their schedule is the lightest and easiest in the SEC amongst every team in the SEC, is because it took to get their money over here for that agreement that we would give them a free ride the first year.
Who? I missed the team. I'm sorry. I was,
All right, let me repeat it.
now, just who's the team that you
All
named?
right, we're talking about Texas, University of
Okay.
Texas.
Okay, I got you.
University of Texas.
I got you.
Do you think the reason they got all this money right off the get-go when they come in, they get that? They've got, you look at their schedule. They have the easiest schedule of any SEC team out there. Even us old timers that's been here from the beginning, they was given a free ride to the playoffs in the SEC championship game. Do you think that was Greg Sankey agreed to that with it on a table communication with them to get their money in the SEC?
Here's the thing about the money. Texas has got it. We know they're there. They got the money. Them A&M both got more money than the rest of the SEC. Arkansas's got a lot of money. Walmart and Jerry Jones, Arkansas, so they got a lot of money. Texas was bullying that conference to the point when you remember when Arkansas and South Carolina joined the SEC. That's why Arkansas left the what was that called back in the was it Big Ten? Arkansas left, Colorado left because Texas was bullying them because Texas has the power. They said, we don't get our way, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So Texas actually got more percentage of the pie. If you had 10 teams, Texas would get 22% of the pie instead of 10% of the pie. So you're right about the money aspect. They use their money and they said, if you don't do it, we're going to do this and that. Okay. That was whatever it's called, the Big Eight, whatever. Colorado was in it back then. I can't remember who all was in it. That's what happened to that conference. That's why that conference no longer exists, because Texas was bullying them, and A&M said, we don't have to put up with your shit. A&M's got just as much money, guys, if not more. And you check that out. I mean, Waylon, you know better than I do, but A&M's got more money than Texas. They got more star power at Texas, but A&M's got more money. So anyway,
Why do you think we kiss Texas's ass so much this first year, though?
I don't think we kissed their ass that much.
Look at their damn schedule. Don't even give me that. They was getting a free friggin' ride all
I'm
the way through.
That's why I was trying to pull it up.
The rest of us are having to play damn bloodthirsty fucking people that cut your damn balls off and look at you. They got people that powder their ass for them.
Okay, this is the first year, second year. I'm trying to pull up their schedule, see who their SEC schedule was compared.
Anyway, that's just me. That's just my thoughts on that one.
Don't worry. I mean, you stick by your guns, right or wrong. You know, let's say I'm trying to find their schedule, guys.
I just know big money talks, and like Wayne was saying, that's why our Alabama brand is so good, because we travel, we support our team, we love our team, and we spend the money no matter where we go.
I agree with that. We're a very passionate fan base. Let's see, September. Let's see.
The hardest game they've had was Georgia.
Here we go. Texas played Michigan, UTSA, La Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma. None of them any good so far. Of course, Georgia. They played Vanderbilt, which again, Florida.
They could have got beat. Vandy could have beat them.
Florida had a down year. Vandy it was 27-24. Texas barely beat Vanderbilt.
I know.
Florida, they beat Florida like a dog.
Well, Florida sucks this year.
Arkansas, they beat Arkansas 20-10. They beat
we big shit this year.
And they beat Texas by 17, and A&M they beat by 10.
And A&M ain't all that either. But you see my point?
They had a little easier schedule this year, but I think you remember last year, Georgia.
Oh, Georgia. No, yeah, you want to talk Georgia's past? Oh, good Lord, please.
I'm just talking that the schedule sometimes happens where you have that kind of schedule. This year, Georgia has that tough schedule. We all been laughing at them, and that's what it feels like playing an SEC schedule. And I think Texas just got lucky this year, and you might be right. I'm not saying they didn't. You know, they kissed Texas' ass because they wanted the money, the draw power. So they got Texas and Oklahoma coming in. What'd you see?
Oh, girlfriend up here, she's going to say, that's too easy. Too easy. You're right. You are right.
Down in
Dude,
town.
that's a setup schedule. I'm sorry. That's a setup schedule. There's some money involved somewhere.
That
As
was a
Kansas
good
would say, there's a McDonald bag being passed somewhere. I'm just saying.
Well, I agree. That was easier scheduled than what we had and stuff like that. But I don't think that's not going to hang around very long, guys. The SEC is not going to let Texas do SEC to what they done to the big. What was that they used to call Whalen? Or what? You remember? Was it the Big 12, Big 10? What that? Southwest Conference.
Whalen said he was called Pac-8 is a Pac-10 now, or Pac-8 then, Pac-10 now, Pac-12.
All right, the Southwest Conference is one I'm referring to. Colorado used to be in it. Arkansas used to be in it. A&M was in it.
Oh, that was way back when. Okay, I got you.
And they were bullying everybody around, and they finally said, "Fuck you." Colorado left, and everybody left. Go ahead.
Big dog, give me your last words. We're almost 20 minutes over. Good Lord, my bad, Joe. I'm sorry. Wasn't paying no attention. My lead done kicked in. Sorry.
We're having fun, guys.
Go ahead.
I ain't no hurry to go home. No last word.
I got to get up early again. All right. Got any last words you want to talk about tonight, man? Anything? What we got coming up? Anything?
Well, being a smart ass I am, does anybody want to stay online another 20 minutes? I'm just kidding. Oh, let me see if I can remember. I had something wrote down earlier. But you asked a question earlier, and I still ain't gave it to you, and I couldn't think of it, about the worst coaching job this year.
Yeah.
How long has Billy Napier been in Florida? Is this his second or third? But they turned it around. I don't know when they got Lagway in there, he turned it around, but he was doing the worst. Let's see.
Years.
Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee.
Last year. Yeah, I think this is the second year. I could be wrong. Because
let me ask you this. Do you think Miami, if they played the SEC schedule this year, what do you think their record would have been? They wouldn't have been 11-1 or 10-2. What do you think Miami would have been against Alabama's schedule? And that's where I'm going to
I think they've done. I think Miami would beat Oklahoma, and we didn't. So I'll say Miami would be 6-6.
Okay, and that's another part I'm thinking. If you're trying to pull teams into your conference, do you want to pull in a Texas Tech or do you want to pull in a Texas? You want the big dog because it's going to bring more money, and you're right. You're exactly right. I believe you're right about that. They did give Texas some favorisms this year. I want to tell you one of the things I don't agree with, and these, if you do the horns down, the ref throws a fucking flag for a symbol of the horns down. That's bullshit. SEC, I tell hey, they can do horns down all they want to. We ain't got enough time now for me to go into officiating. We'll do that on another night. We ain't getting into that one yet. By the way, before we get out of here, guys, the videos I was going to do, let me see. I think there's a, yeah. How'd you like that call? You said officials, you called me to it. How'd you like that call where Alabama got them 2 calls against them when they took our defensive back on their bench? And there's like 30 Auburn players back there. Malachi ran in there to get him out, and that's all he was trying to do. And they got a hold of Malachi, and they threw a flag on Malachi. 2 Alabama players were in there, and there were 40
Auburn. No Auburn. Yeah, we know. I know. Like I say, we ain't getting started on that. I gotta get up out of here. We're almost hour and 20 minutes over, bro. We're almost 20 minutes over. We gotta get up out of here. These people's tired too. They need to go. They're being nice to us. T-Town, Tricia, I hope I'm saying that right. If I ain't, if I'm not, I apologize, ma'am. From here, looks like Tricia. I've seen you on other channels. It's great. You always bring great content. You always bring in great comments, great questions, and I do appreciate you being here. Thank you.
I got a question for you before we get out of here. Just real quick.
Hurry up.
Don't hurry me up. You'll make me forget my question.
Don't shit your pants up.
From right now until we have our first playoff game, when's our playoff game? Anybody know?
Do what now?
When's our playoff game? When we're in the playoffs, when do we play? Is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks? When is that game?
I have no idea. I don't even know if we're in it yet.
Well, I think SMU will beat Clemson, and I think we're in it. I'm just saying. So they're playing the championship games this week. Do you think they'll have an off week and then play a game, or do you think they'll play back to back? If you win that SEC championship game, then you got to play the next week, or is it 2 weeks? You think before we be in the playoffs?
You know, I haven't seen that. I will look that up. I will find that out. I have not looked that up. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know.
I'm trying to. Somebody said something a while ago. I was trying to find out, but as far
Because
as
all the brackets just got people's names up there. It don't have dates because the names change so much.
and the other question I was going to ask you, and it's very similar to the question about the worst coach. Oh shit. Not this year, I guess what I'm saying, but you said the worst coach was Norval. Who's the coach this upcoming year on the hottest seat in NCAA college football? I don't think it's Norval, but who would you think is on the – I know who I'm going to say, but who's on the hottest seat in college football as a head coach for next year? If he don't win it all or do something great next year, who's that coach that's going to be let go that's done good? Y'all say something.
You got several on that list, brother. You got several. You got several with winning seasons. That their fans and alumni, you know, eight wins ain't enough. 9 wins ain't enough.
Yeah, it's according to
Hugh Freeze is one of them. I'll put that one out there quick, but he didn't even go in bowling. God bless. Jesus.
You think Florida State's coach on the hot seat? You think that's just a bad year?
I'm gonna have to say his seat might be hot, but I don't think they're going to fire him this year. Because if they were, they'd already done it.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I say there. There's, like I said, there's more to Florida State than meets the eyeball. There's a lot of failure somewhere. Nick Saban Jr. says Lincoln Riley.
That's a good one. I ain't what I'm thinking, though.
They love him over there, brother. They love him. They want him. They love him. And I don't know if they really want him. Oh, shit. Hell yeah. Oh, I got to say this real quick. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Waylon. Thank you. Alabama's men basketball just won 94-79 over North Carolina. Big time win, brother. Big time win. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, awesome.
That's a good answer also, Miss Tricia. Sam Pittman, Arkansas. He's on a hot seat.
Oh, God. Sam Pittman looks like a hog. I mean, he has a snout and everything. I mean, when he laughs, he snorts. I mean, how can you get rid of a coach that makes the sounds of your damn mascot even when he farts? I mean, he probably has a damn screw dick, too. I mean, how do you get rid of that kind of coach? I mean, I'm just sorry. I mean, how do you do it?
Okay, but I mean, there's one guy out there who's done good, but again, I'm not Penn State's coach, but there's another guy I think out there.
Go for it. Go ahead and name it.
That's Ohio State. I think Ryan Day.
Oh, good point. Good point.
If he does not win it all, at least next year, I think he's a fired ass because you cannot. They
did invest $20 million in players.
Yeah. And Mark Richt, again, this guy, Ryan Day, could be a Mark Richt 2.0. You got James Franklin 1.0, who's a copy of Mark Richt as far as winning. Ryan Day took over a great team from a coach, and so he's doing great.
Tricia's got it. Tricia's got the one. Mark Stoops.
Well, Kentucky never
Mark
been
Stoops. I forgot all about that. You're so right, girl, because he's not a fit. They don't even like him. They didn't like him. The fans didn't like him when they hired him.
Yeah, but who's won more games than since he's been there? You know, Kentucky. I'm just thinking, what do they expect at Kentucky? 8-4, you're a good coach. 7-5, what are your expectations compared to where you're actually at? That's why I think Ohio State's job is going to be harder next year. And that's a good answer, Mr. Stoop. He'll be on the hot seat, but I don't know how much rope they're going to give him. I think he'll last longer than that because he's built in some goodwill. But at Kentucky football, do you really expect to win 10 games at Kentucky football? That's a basketball school. And that's why – and Lincoln Riley is a good answer. But Lincoln Riley, again, he's that 10-win guy. If you want to win a championship, who are you gonna go after? So if you got a 10-win coach, are you gonna keep him winning 10 games and no championship? James Franklin at Penn State, Ryan Day at Ohio State are my two guys next year who will be on the hot seat. And I mean hot. They got Ryan Day. He ain't won a championship. Franklin ain't won what's a Big Ten. He ain't ever won a Big Ten up there. He's been there 10 years. Ain't won a championship yet. How long
Trisha asked, got question marks up here. I mean, I don't see. Oh no, she's laughing. She's going Brian Kelly. Now he's good. He's good. He fits right into LSU. He's all up in that Louisiana thing. Mike Gunday. Ooh. Nick Saban Jr. That's a good one.
I don't know.
Because he was loved and loved and loved.
Yeah,
now he's being hated on.
Well, I ain't seen him hating on him, but I mean he ain't going nowhere.
Ooh.
But Brian Kelly to me,
that's a good one. It might not be this year, but it will definitely be next year.
Brian
Kelly
Kelly
ends up next year like he did this year. That's a good one in this Nick Saban Jr. That's a good one. Didn't even think about that one. That's a good one.
If Brian Kelly doesn't win a championship in 2 years, I think, or 3 at the most, they'll fire him. I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't hire him anyhow. I don't want a coach coming in talking like this down here at LSU. You got that little titty ass little voice, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, you bitch. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but then when he started trying to talk with a Southern slang, he forgot where he's at.
Yeah,
Louisiana's got their own slang. It ain't even Southern. It hell ain't no Alabama Southern. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a hillbilly, and they can't talk nothing like me. They talk a hell of a lot different. When he started talking about it, I'm going, you dumbass. God, you're a dumbass. Anyway, all right. We're 30 minutes over. I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much for being up in here. Good questions. We're going to have more of that because the season's winding down. Appreciate every one of y'all. Thank y'all so very, very much.
You answered my question.
What's the damn question?
Who's the coach on the hot seat that you think's going to get fired next year?
You say next year?
Yeah, not this year. If he don't win it, do great next year or win a championship or something along them lines. Yeah, who do you think's going to get fired? What school's going to fire their head coach? Maybe next year, at the end of next year. Who's going to fire their head coach next year? Period. No matter the school. And again, that goes, and I'll let y'all guys go. I just think if you're 11-1, you're not winning championships. If I'm Penn State,
my number one's Hugh Freeze. My number 2 is Mike Gundy. Mr. Mullet done. Thank you for bringing. That's number 2. The other one would be Ohio State. My number 1 would definitely be Hugh Freeze.
And my final word on this, guys. I want y'all to take this serious. Let's break it down. I'll get off sports. It's about our country's vets, our Vietnam vets, our war vets, and stuff like that. The veteran. This guy over here is a veteran of our United States military. Thank you, guys. Do not forget what these guys do. They're on the line every day in these countries. They put their life on the line. They're great men and women. If you see a chance that you can help by adding $10 to a coffer somewhere for Veterans Affairs to help our vets that come back from these countries, they don't come back the same. And I know we got to go, and I apologize for doing this at the last minute. I meant to do this sooner, and I got carried away. Our vets deserve better. They deserve everything when they come home. If there's anything wrong with them, it should cost them $0. If they come home with a burned up leg, messed up leg, it should cost them $0 because they were out there putting their ass on the line for me and you. Do not forget your vets when you see one walk by. Please, for the love of God, thank them for their attitude because they put their butt on the line. Thank them for their service. Don't forget, okay? My dad fought in World War II. I had this back behind me, and that's why I put this behind me. My dad fought in World War II, and I can't do it. But, please, I've had something just happen in my house. Please remember your vets and thank them every opportunity you get. And I'll let you go, Mr. Spencer. And thank you so much for your service, sir. I know you as a service member There's several guys I'm sure on here that served. Thank every one of y'all. God bless you, and y'all have a wonderful night. Roll Tide.
Right. Stephen Hicks, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank everyone, and I will say this: if y'all have the means to send anything for any veterans, please do. Any association, please do, because the money does go for great things. But if you don't, believe me, just stay. You see someone in uniform, just go up there and put your hand out and say thank you for your service. Man, woman,
Yeah.
somebody with you know the military animals too. They're in full uniform. You see them. Go thank them. Seriously, go thank them.
And guys, also
Don't have to put no money. Just thank them for their service. All right. But with that being said, we're gonna get here with a Mighty Bear Bryant. Thank everyone. We do appreciate y'all so very, very much.
we do college pick'em on Saturday, guys. Come in indoors, have fun.
Whose weekend is it to pick? Rise Up picked it last week.
I wouldn't rise up. Me, you, and
I guess it's me.
Me,
No,
you, and
Rise Up
Icebox.
picked them last week.
It might be my turn. I
Might
don't see
be.
it
Okay.
Icebox.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Holler at y'all later. We're out of here. Roll
Roll
Tide.
Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
You've got to be better in all three areas of life, which of course are spiritual, mental, and physical. You must be able to discipline yourself. If you don't learn but one thing out of football, it'll be worthwhile. There's certain sacrifices that you will have to make. There are going to be many sacrifices you have to make in later life. To fight. Oh, I don't mean fist fight. I mean to get up and come back and get up and come back and get up and come back again after you've been knocked down. And that could happen to you in later life. But if it does, you're going to know how to handle it. There's no one that ever has or ever will accomplish anything alone. I've read about self-made men. That's Tommy rot, as far as I'm concerned. I don't even know how to define intangibles. And I know that if you learn these lessons, you'll have it. And if you have it, you'll win, and you'll be better prepared in those three areas of life that we've been talking about. That there are going to be times for everyone that you're going to get discouraged. But if you never lose sight of your objective and never give up on yourself, if we do that as a team, 11 at a time, well, 4 years from now, why, we'll be walking out of here